let's start about what do we know, okay? What do we know about pandemics? When humans actually face something in their daily lives, they experience them. And when they experience them, they try to attribute meanings to them. But actually, what we know about pandemics is that pandemics are not new. First thing first, they were all over the world, right? Since from the beginning of the world, we see the traces of pandemics starting from the very early ages, even before Christ, in China, in Athens. And we know more about the more recent ones. And we can actually think about like 4 or 5 that happened in our own century, 20th and 21st century. So they are not new. First thing first, we have to understand this as citizens of the globe, global citizens, or you may call it, okay? So if we think that, if we try to address what we are going to do with the pandemics, first thing first, we have to understand it is a global phenomenon. It is a kind of a disaster, but it is not new. So then let's continue. If it's not new, can we learn something? Can we have some previous insights about what happened before? Okay? So I believe there might be some of us in the audience that experienced more than once about an experience on pandemic. H1N1 plus COVID, most probably. I don't know. So let's think about how it actually changed and altered our world. We can make a summary, a kind of a big look on what happens after the pandemics. First thing first, what we see is that after the pandemics, people start to think about 2 things: earthly matters and divine matters. They try to reshape, and also they do, actually not try to, but they start to think about what I'm going to do tomorrow, if I'm going to die or not. That's the first thing that they think about. And then, the second thing that we observe within the post-disaster communities is that how should I relate with environment? Why did this happen to me? Okay? That's the question that we ask. Why did it happen to me? So these are 2 crucial questions which actually shape our relation to 2 things: divine and earthly matters. When we talk divine, I'll just summarize it by God. Okay? Most people start to think about God saying that, okay, why is this happening? Why my children is dying because of this disaster? And then we all start to think about the earthly matters. How can I prevent this? What should I do next? Then this can be summarized within the heading of human beings' relationships with the environment that they live in. I'm not talking about the green environment and the other famous stuff. The whole environment that we live in. Our families, our past and future, and so on and so forth. So when we think about this, it has a great matter on political stability, economic stability, and so on and so forth. So these are 2 domains that we should be thinking on. The human response, when we think about within these 2 domains, there are we can also summarize 2 big responses. The first thing is that we provide a local response because these pandemics actually happen in our immediate environment, our families, our neighborhood, our cities, our countries. So we start to rethink in such a global environment, we start to rethink within the local terms. So this is the first thing that we do. But then, when we think about these diseases, when they happen locally, then we observe something else. This pandemic especially, and also any kind of natural disaster you may think of, do not have the same impact among all sections of society. If you check the numbers, you will see that COVID-19 hit the most vulnerable groups all around the globe. Vulnerable, I mean low socioeconomic status, low education or middle level of education, low income, and so on and so forth. So actually, although it is a global term, although it seems that it affects all of us, it does not. So here, I want to jump to the idea of one of the mottos of this event, be better. In order to do something about a pandemic or a disaster, we should be better. We don't have any other option. Like within the previous presentation, that's an enormous idea. I'm quite impressed about the idea of what Dimitri said. This is a way of being better. I'm not talking about going on the streets and sharing our revenues with low-income people. No one will do that. But if we do not actually inject such kind of policies to our working mechanisms, to our industrial relationships, we will face the same results again and again and again, and also the industry will be hit like that again and again and again. So we should be better. And also we have to do something else. We also have to respond in global terms, which we are doing at the moment, okay? This is an incredible event, and I really want to applaud you to travel throughout the world trying to overcome this situation, try to cope with life, trying to sustain our relationships with the business environment, and so on and so forth. This is then also, it's not all the dark side. We are on the brighter side of this pandemic at the moment. We are trying to be better. We are trying to be better. This is quite crucial. I want you to think out of the box. Most probably you are here for doing business, which is quite okay, no problem with that. But if we do not try to be better, we will continue to face the same problems. And we have examples of, other than the business environment, about how to be better. Like, think about the vaccine studies. It has jumped kind of 3 or 4 times. We all have the vaccines at the moment. It's an enormous leap in such kind of studies. And Doctors Without Borders. These are all the better sides. What we do as business people all around the world, we are more into such kind of charts, which is a kind of a World Bank chart, about how to do things, okay? Understanding the risks, mitigating the risks, going local, going global, and so on and so forth. But this is not the issue, basically. This is a practical issue. What I'm talking about is not a practical issue. What I'm talking about is a philosophical issue. And if we do not attach such kind of approach to our business plans, we are doomed to fail. If not, we will face the same problems again and again and again, each and every disaster. Not only a pandemic, you can think about this for every natural disaster. So, I just want to finish because I know I'm quite boring, but still, I have some ideas. I think when you think about the box, you should be producing some new ideas. All of us should produce some new ideas. When I read such stuff, what's going on in the tourism industry and others, of course, industries all around the world, this idea came to my mind. It's new carpe diem tourism. What I mean by carpe diem is actually, we all know what carpe diem means, but still, what we experience after the pandemics is that, like I summarized, eternal and earthly, both sides. And I believe people all over the world will make very fast decisions, very fast. It is not, of course, if you're going on holiday, most probably you are kind of, living your life at the moment, which is the definition of carpe diem. But still, more and more people will be more inclined not to postpone plans because no one knows what will happen tomorrow. We are quite, stressed about what will happen tomorrow. Am I going to die or not? So I believe people will be more on the move and more faster. So that the industry should respond to that with more fast solutions, like I call it snap solutions. Most of the time it might not be planned, which is kind of disturbing, I can hear you, but we have to provide snap solutions. And the Western civilization is not very good at providing snap solutions. They are all planned and so on and so forth. But the rest of the world are quite good, especially, I'm a Turkish guy, and we always provide snap solutions. So that's one thing. The other side is the eternal one, okay? I don't know how many of you are religious or whatever it is. Do you ever think about what's going on next on the eternal life? But if you do so, this is another opening. This is another opening because people will not postpone their eternal thoughts. They have to do something, if they plan to do something about this, they will be doing that as fast as can. Again, the key word is, again, being fast. If you want to go, for example, to fulfill your religious work or religious necessities, you will not postpone that. So it will make an opening in this religion tourism or eternal tourism, what you may call it. So the thing is, the hedonist way of life at the end of the day is an end product of any kind of natural disaster, including the COVID-19. So I think that the citizens of the global world will be more united, will be more fast, and they will be more inclined not to postpone their plans. I really want to thank you for listening to me, and I really want to thank the organization for providing this opportunity for me to address you here. I hope to chat with you during the sessions and hear your opinions about that, because that's a very quite important issue. Because in academia we usually provide opinions and so on and so forth, but we really do not know the reflections from the industry leaders. So I would be very happy to hear your comments about what I've said here, and of course hear your contributions. Thank you very much.